Today on the Tiger Lacrosse Report, we'll review the Tigers' season opener against the Stony Brook Seawolves. Get ready, fans. The Tiger Lacrosse Report starts now. Hello and welcome to the season premiere of the Tiger Lacrosse Report. I'm Ben Rosenbaum. The Tigers opened their season against the number 6 Stony Brook Seawolves at the U, a game where the Tigers fell 10-9 in the final moments. Let's take a look at the highlights.
Good job here by the freshman Colby Uncle, or Olivia Conti rather, and now a shot on and score for the Seawolves. Kennedy drifting close, now out to Yevely. Yevely in front of the net, a bounce shot and scores 2-0 Stony Brook. 26:07 to go in the first. Now even further out to Gillingham. Gillingham driving in, takes a shot, scores! Emily Gillingham puts the Tigers on the board in between the legs of Tesorio. It's 2-1 Stony Brook, 21:43 to go. And extended goes behind to Brookhart. Brookhart wraps it around, goes in front, ball's loose, shot on, score! Michaela Durante evens us up at 2, 19:55 to go. Keating. Van Dyke in on goal, shot in between the legs of Keating and in. Stony Brook takes the lead, 3-2. Goes forward, fires low and scores. 4-2 Seawolves, 6:48 to go. Bono in, fires good. 5-4, 1:33 to go. Tigers pull within one off the free position goal from Caitlin Montalbano. Handle it, still loose. Simonte picks it up. Simonte now driving in. She scoops a shot in and scores as she's knocked to the ground. And they count it just as the shot clock expires. It's 6-6. Goes forward, fire, shoots and scores. Maddie Tribby puts the Tigers back on top. 8-7. Now outside, now back in front, shot on and score. Seawolves pull even at 9 with 1:53 to go. Mitchell ready. Pass in front, shot, goal. Ohlmiller with 4 seconds to go. 10-9 Seawolves.
Emily Gillingham and Carly Tellecamp led the way for the Tigers with 2 goals each, and freshman goalie Kylie Keating had 8 saves. And as always, I'm joined by the head coach of the Tigers, Sonia LaMonica. Coach, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me here, Ben.
So, Coach, before the game, number 6 versus number 19, you said to me this would be a great measuring stick for you guys. We've heard the girls say they're trying to win a national championship this year. On that measuring stick, where do you think your team is right now?
I think we're right there. Look, early February games might not be indicative of where you're going to be later in the season. Obviously, I think, we made plenty of errors, plenty of fixable errors. And, I think it was a bit of an ugly game at times, but there was a lot of bright moments as well. So overall, I'm really encouraged. I'm really encouraged that we were able to have, a freshman come in and step into our returning goalie's sort of shoes and do a great job. I was pleased to see, our defensive unit and some of the new personnel that we've put together really, do some good stuff, make some great stops against, a very strong offensive team in Stony Brook. And I think we see a lot of potential offensively. I think that's where that and our clearing game, we've got to sort of tighten up on some things. But in terms of the measuring stick, I think plenty of room for improvement. And that certainly wasn't, I think, where we're going to be here in the near future. But it's a good place to start our first game of the season.
Yeah, you mentioned a bright spot. Kylie Keating, freshman goalie, has to fill in for Angie Benson, and she played really well. 8 saves, a lot of point-blank range saves, and she really kept you guys in that in a couple of cases.
Yeah, Kylie, she's got great positioning. She's quick reaction-wise. Her hands are quick. And I think she did a really good job of just staying right in the moment, having a short memory, and not putting too much weight on her own shoulders. I think she was very obviously excited for the opportunity, as you would be. freshman season, getting out to step onto the big stage. So I think she, with that, all that in mind, I think mentally she stood pretty strong.
And sticking with Angie and Kylie for just a moment, something we're used to seeing during halftime, towards the end, Coach Mike Molster always takes the goalie out, warms them back up, and usually it's just goalie and Coach Molster. Angie went out with them. What does that kind of say about Angie's leadership?
Oh, absolutely. I think that just goes back to showing, it's about the team, and we're here to help each other, here to support one another. And, for Angie, she's got that mentality. She obviously cares very much about, this team and what we're doing. And, she would have wanted nothing more than to be out there. But the next best thing she can do is be there for a freshman and to help her and support her. So I think it's really commendable, and I'm not really surprised that she did that.
Carly Tellecamp, her first return to game action since her injury last year. 2 goals for her. Is she back to 100%? Is she still getting better? Is she feeling okay out there?
I think Carly's warming up. I think there's a lot to come. She's a highly talented player. She's got a great lacrosse IQ, and her mobility looks great. I think she had a number of shots. I mean, she was being relatively aggressive. I think there's more of that in her, though, and more of that's going to come as she continues to get it reacclimated back. But I mean, in all honesty, it's hard to think that she's had an injury and has come back, because I think she's probably transitioned the best of anyone I've ever seen, recovered and gotten back out in the field, and hasn't really skipped much of a beat. So I think there's a lot of good stuff to come from Carly.
Defensively, you mentioned that your unit did a really nice job. Kelly McCulkin will be named CAA Defensive Player of the Week for her performance. Deanna Walfer had a really nice job. Actually got a shot in on goal, which I was in my 2 years of calling, that was the first time I saw Tiana take a shot, and I was kind of surprised. Olivia Conti had a nice day. Michelle Gilday. How did you feel about the unit?
Yeah, the defensive unit, they really did a good job of, being aggressive, I think, dictating the offense a little bit, not allowing the Stony Brook offense to do the things that they necessarily like to do. I think they crashed really, really well when the ball got into the 8. They made a lot of plays. We came up short with a few things, a couple mistakes that got exposed, whether it be in transition, an area that we've got to make sure that we slow the ball and we cover those cutters as everyone's flooding into the 8. But I think Kelly just did an outstanding job on a great player in Kylie Olmiller, and not just contained that individual, but got 5 caused turnovers for herself and a number of ground balls. So she really stepped up and just played a tremendous job. And the Michelle Gilday, a new role for her, playing down on the crease, and I think she did a great job as well in working with Kelly on communicating through those cross-crease slides a little bit, on making sure she was putting pressure out behind, which was really important that we did that to disable a lot of feeding ability from behind. Olivia, I think she really, you noticed her on the field yesterday, not just defensively, but clearing the ball, getting the ball upfield, running by people. She used her determined mentality and her skill set well. I think Tiana did a fantastic job as well. Her role is really key in our defensive unit. She's really guarding that middle. She's got to take away those easy options on ball side, and I think she did overall a pretty good job, and she just plays with a great tenacity. And it would have been nice to see her score a goal in that first game of the season.
And then very quickly, that last play, that last sequence, you guys have it, shot clock runs out on you, and then they score off a free position. Anything you would have done differently there, or was that the look or the setup you were trying to have?
Well, if we were permitted to have our third timeout in that game, I would have called a timeout. I think there was some confusion on the side of the officials, but you just deal with it. What would have we done differently? Well, we needed to execute our offense, get the ball through X, and really look to generate something from low. And if we weren't getting quality looks, we've got to just get the ball out low and put ourselves in position to ride. Unfortunately, because we gave up that opportunity on the top of the 8, with the new rule and the shot clock expiring, the ball restarts where it was. So that left us in a predicament in transition and ultimately to a goal. So yeah, we've got to do a better job there and understand sort of the clock, understand that where we want the ball to be if the shot clock's going to expire. And unfortunately, we learned it the hard way, coming out in the loss in this game. But we'll learn from that, and there are great steps that we'll take moving forward. So what are you going to do?
All right.
Learn from it.
That'll do it for us on today's episode of the Tiger Lacrosse Report. Join us next time when we preview the Tigers game against Penn State. For head coach Sonia LaMonica, I'm Ben Rosenbaum. Thanks for joining us, and as always, go Tigers.